This binder contains a quick overview of the different malefactors that Foundation scientists and containment personnel have observed on the streets of Baltimore during our initial sweep. This does not represent the extent of our current knowledge, but provides a succinct overview for those who wish to become acquainted with our subject matter. One of our most interesting finds during the Carnate Island containment operation was a journal written by a fairly intelligent escaping inmate by the name of Clem. He had composed and illustrated a bestiary of all the malefactors he had seen and had named them in an amusing style. Impressed by his work, we've decided to continue his naming convention herein. Slayer. This is the most pervasive of all the malefactors we've encountered. The Slayer has a basic human body shape, but with blades replacing the legs and arms and a metallic apparatus suspending the head. Given its context, the Slayer's appearance evokes blade-wielding street criminals, though the malefactor's blades are longer and sharper than one would normally find even on the most violent Baltimore streets. Arsonist. This malefactor is most curious because of its ability to survive despite being perpetually engulfed in flame. Its fire is persistent and never extinguishes for as long as its host lives. Its flesh appears to flake off as it chars, yet the malefactor seems unhurt. Baltimore has a high incidence of abandoned building fires, often with squatters and other impoverished people trapped in these run-down buildings and burned alive. If only they could survive as well as the Arsonist. Gorger. Along with the Carnate Island malefactor the Fester, this Gorger is distinct because of its constant need to feed as part of its innate behavior. With its incredibly sharp teeth and highly muscled jaw, this malefactor seems built to do precisely that. This creature appears to be the incarnation of a popular Baltimore urban legend that tells of an insatiable creature that feeds on whatever it can find. Triggerman. A human corpse forms the center of this malefactor. The body appears to have suffered multiple gunshot wounds, particularly to its head, which has lost a significant portion of its mass. The malefactor's legs are vaguely arachnid in form and incorporate some type of automatic rifle. As with the Slayer, this Triggerman seems to tie to Baltimore's tragically prevalent street crime, with a high number of homicides each year resulting from gun violence. Mainliner. An offshoot of the Mainliner seen on Carnate, this malefactor's appearance is evocative of the numerous junkies that one finds in Baltimore's poorest neighborhoods. Its innate behavior is to assault enemies with its syringes, suggesting that it's more of an aggressive drug dealer than a drug abuser. The syringes we have analyzed contain a unique heroin-derived concoction that is capable of instantly killing almost any human immediately upon injection. Marksman. This malefactor is nearly identical to the ones we saw in large quantities on Carnate Island. It wears a giant battery of rifles on its back and is able to erupt out of the ground, a particularly impressive sight due to its significant size. In Baltimore's troubled past, there were a few rare occasions of the military being called out to quell civilian uprisings. One can only imagine how this marksman ties to those intense events. Mauler. One of the few malefactors that does not derive from a human skeleton, these beasts do still feature a hideous human skull. Named the Mauler for their savage biting attacks, these malefactors are relentless in their pursuit of a target and seem to be insatiable in their appetite for human flesh. Their appearance often coincides with the manifestation of an apparition, a large human who seems to be their master. Burrower. Cities are built on the backs of those who labored and died to build their underground infrastructure. Just as those laborers needed to adapt to their hostile working conditions, so too has this Burrower. This malefactor actually moves beneath the surface of the earth at tremendous speed. The exact physics of how it accomplishes this remain a mystery, especially given that it can successfully tunnel through a wide variety of materials. Suppressor. The Suppressor is surprisingly mobile, given that it's missing a number of its limbs and seems to have lost some of its senses. This malefactor can only see enemies when they step into its intense beam of light, but it is relentless once it's spotted a target. Given its appearance and its tendency to show up near Eastern Baltimore Correctional, it seems to be connected to that institution's infamous and brutal Correctional Emergency Response Team, CERT. Isolationist. This malefactor thrives in the darkness and tries to make its environment as dark as possible by disabling or destroying light sources. We've not been able to get a good look at the Isolationist, let alone capture one. It appears to have a unique relationship with a cockroach-like malefactor, the Wretch, which it spawns in large numbers. One cannot help but think of inmates locked away in solitary when one glimpses the Isolationist. The Horde. By far, this is the largest malefactor that we have witnessed. It is unclear to us if the Horde is unique or if we have simply never seen more than one at a time. It seems like a distant, much larger cousin to the Burrower, but obviously more deadly and destructive. This gigantic malefactor appears to have countless small animal heads sprouting from its body, evoking a mob or horde come to visit their uncontrollable anger upon the unwary. Blackmore. Blackmore is one of the multiple fictional personalities of our prime target, Torque. Blackmore is highly intelligent, fiercely determined, and brilliantly charismatic, but is only dominant a small percentage of the time. Nevertheless, he's managed to build a substantial criminal empire and has been using his ill-gotten gains to fund the Foundation. He's included here because of his unique connection to the malefactors.